1, 2, 3, I don't know who else to be. 4, 5, 6, like they say I can't be
Today,
fixed.
I've got the honour and privilege of interviewing Daneil Bleakley, graduate of the Queensland University of Technology with an engineering degree. Daneil has worked as mechanical engineer for Rio Tinto in Claremont, Queensland. He then went on to work at various sites both here and overseas, such as Mathers Hydraulics in Brisbane, PACT Engineering in Scotland, Escape Fitness in United Kingdom, as well as various companies in Perth, WA. In 2012, Daneil founded a specialist printing company, Merch Factory, being a supplier to more than 5,000 customers worldwide. But during all of this, Daneil's mission has been to do more about climate change and highlight the shenanigans that goes on in Australia. He does this through activism, like doing a 10-day hunger strike to raise awareness around rising CO2 levels and calling on the Victorian government to do more about climate action. A member of Extinction Rebellion, Daneil also made headlines for supergluing his hand to the Siemens headquarters window in Melbourne. There, he protested about their involvement with the Adani Group, which I could do a whole separate video on, about the world-destroying global warming projects like the Carmichael coal mine, the Artisan Basin, and more. Thanks for joining me, Daneil. And quick question before I get into the hard-hitting questions. That mine in northern Queensland, the one that you used to work at when you did like your work experience many years ago, was that the Blair Atoll coal mine that Rio Tinto shut down in 2012?
Yeah, that's the one. Blair Atoll coal mine, just outside of Claremont.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, and geez, they left a little bit of a legacy there, didn't they? You know, just basically abandoning it and leaving the site in a terrible state. So,
I heard that they, I read an article about it, I think last year, but apparently Rio Tinto sold it to another company.
Mm-hmm.
And that company, two of the directors were former Labor MPs in Queensland.
Yeah.
And the rehabilitation still hasn't been completed at that mine.
No.
So there's something dodgy is going on there.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure what, but yeah.
Yep. It was sold for $1.
Was it really?
$1. Yes. Yeah. Well, you know, Ozpol, so corrupt. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
look, now today, we could talk about a lot of things, but I'd like to start at the beginning. That's okay. What made you get into climate activism?
So I've been interested in climate science and climate change for about 20 years now. I studied engineering in Brisbane in 2001. I started my course, and back then I was learning a lot about climate science as well in my spare time. And I wrote my first letter to a politician back in 2001. But back then it seemed like a problem that was a long way into the future. So I followed it. I watched politics. I learned about renewable energy and electric vehicles, but I didn't really get involved in activism or in political party or anything like that. And then the last 2 years, I've been almost a full-time activist for the last 2 years, and that's mainly been because of a lot of the reports that have been coming out over the last couple of years, which are extremely alarming and are telling us that if we don't act now in the next couple of years and really reduce our emissions rapidly, then we're going to go through tipping points and we won't come back from that. So yeah, I'm deeply concerned about the climate crisis. And 2 years ago, I was listening to a radio program and they were interviewing some young Australian school strikers, and they were so articulate and well-spoken and passionate. I thought to myself, well, I can do something as well. And that's when I got involved in activism.
Perfect. And so what are you most proud of in terms of raising awareness and or maybe what were you most passionate about?
There's a few things. They're kind of different approaches, but so I joined Extinction Rebellion a couple of years ago and did a lot of street actions with the groups. Mm-hmm. Then I did a 10-day hunger strike on the steps of Victoria's Parliament House. So I didn't eat any food for 10 days, or all I had was water. that was to echo the demands of Extinction Rebellion, which there's 3 demands, and it's they are that the government must declare a climate emergency, that the government must act now, and to set up citizens' assemblies to help guide the transition, to take the politics out of it.
Yeah.
So I did the hunger strike, and then a month after the hunger strike, I did an action at Siemens office in Melbourne, where I glued my hand to their foyer window.
Ouch. Did that hurt, or was it just awkward?
It wasn't too bad. The glue does come off with acetylene, I think it is. Acetone.
Yeah.
And yeah, the police arrested me. They have these little, because so many activists have been gluing themselves to things over the last couple of years. The police have these little de-gluing kits that they come out with these little kits, and they'll spray it on there and take you off. But yeah, I was arrested there. I spent a few hours in lockup. But this is where we're at. Like 20 years ago, if you had told me that I would be doing this kind of stuff, I wouldn't have believed you. But I also, 20 years ago, I thought that the government would have acted by now. They haven't.
Yeah.
So there's those 2 actions. I've been very active on Twitter, especially the last 18 months. I've been on Twitter 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, just trying to stir up or agitate more discussion around climate.
Yeah.
And then, the most recent kind of action or campaign has been this coal miners driving Teslas, which happened organically. And I'm sure we'll talk a bit about that.
Absolutely. And I got to say, you've between where I first, I must tell viewers, I met you several years ago at a Tesla supercharger. I was doing a story there, and you told me the story about the hand on the glass, and how one of the really nice cops said to you, like, I get that this stinks, and I got to take you away anyway, but thanks for trying, and thanks for standing up for everybody here. So I salute you. And when I saw your series on the coal miners in Teslas, I was having a good chuckle. Their reactions, they were sincere, they were honest, and they tick all the right boxes. It's everyday people doing something which is extraordinary, because you're like a Model 3 performance, right? So almost 3.5 seconds, and they wouldn't be expecting, would they?
Yeah, that's right. It's been incredible the last 6 weeks when we've been doing these videos, and it is so real and so authentic. There's quite a bit of swearing in some of them, which you would have seen, but it's kind of understandable. So people in regional Australia, they don't have access to electric vehicles, and a lot of them, the only media that they're getting is from News Corp. So every newspaper in Queensland is owned by News Corp. So and News Corp has been telling lies about electric vehicles for decades, and basically trying to suppress electric vehicles and renewable energy. So people in the regions don't know much about EVs, that they don't know much about how incredible the performance of electric vehicles is. It far exceeds, Tesla performance far exceeds any petrol car. So the only way to counter that is to let people experience it for themselves. And so I went up to my hometown for a holiday, 2-week holiday, and I drove my Tesla Model 3 Performance. And I went there with the intention of showing as many people as I could in my town. I didn't have the plan to start a YouTube channel or anything. But my brother works at a coal mine up there, and he took the car to work for a week. So he goes away for a week and then comes back for a week. So he took it to work for a week.
Okay.
And I said to him, if you show any of your mates, or if you take your workmates for a drive, just video their reaction. And so he did. And the first guy that got in is a guy named Mark, and he's got a big goatee, He's got a mullet. He's a coal miner, and he'd never been in an electric vehicle. But the clever thing that my brother did was, instead of driving him somewhere, he put Mark in the driver's seat straight away.
Yeah.
And then they drove slowly out to a quiet country road. And then my brother got him to floor it from 0 to 100. And Mark had no idea that this car accelerates faster than a Lamborghini. So he had no idea what he was in for.
Yeah.
And the video is amazing. It became the first one in our series, and it went viral around the world. It's had over 200,000 views, and and then when I saw it, I just remember thinking, wow, we could be really onto something here.
Yeah, it's resonating with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's how this is, this campaign, I'm going to call it a campaign, maybe it's a better word for that, but I think it captures people's interest in that, one, it debunks all that lies that, Murdoch media and politicians have said around electric vehicles, where Scott Morrison has famously said this.
There's two things. We don't have a problem with electric vehicles. And I'll tell you what, it's not going to tow your trailer. It's not going to tow your boat. It's not going to get you out to your favourite camping spot with your family. Bill Shorten wants to end the weekend when it comes to his policy on electric vehicles, where you've got Australians who love being out there in their four-wheel drives. He wants to say, see you later to the SUV. It's a war on the weekend.
And we are going to save their utes, because we understand choice.
No, I didn't ridicule that technology. That's good technology.
It's great to actually get everyday people into electric vehicles who might not normally have the opportunity, and just to see that reaction. Like, I remember one of the girls, apologies, I don't know her name, and she said, cancel the Ram. And I imagine she's got like an expensive, gas-guzzling, polluting, massive truck on order. And this thing has just demonstrated to her, you know what, these are a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So her name's Chloe, and she grew up with my brother. They were in the same class together. She'd ordered, I'm not sure what's happened with the order, but they had a Ram on order.
Yeah.
And you see in the video, she's like, as soon as she floored it, she's like, cancel the Ram. This is how quick it can change for people, because it just clicks. It's like, wow, this is unreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really about getting bums in seats, and there's really a few objectives with this campaign. And you're right, it is a campaign. First one is to let those people just to let them have a go themselves, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is the videos, to show other people the joy of it. But the third thing that I hope this campaign achieves is, I hope it encourages other Australian electric vehicle owners to share their vehicles with other people, with friends and family, and let their friends and family drive it, let them experience it. Because what I've been saying recently is, we're on the cusp of an electric vehicle revolution in this country, and the EV revolution is only going to happen once. And you're either going to be at the pointy end of it, or you're going to be at the tail end of it. And I can tell you from experience, it's fantastic being at the pointy end, showing your friends, showing your family, sharing those experiences with other people. It's just such a privilege to do that. So I'd encourage all of your listeners, if they own EVs, get out there, let people drive it, talk to them about it, and let's get a grassroots EV revolution going in this country.
Yep, absolutely. And I guess, a background to this for the international viewers out there is that in Australia, vehicle emissions account for more than 20% of our total CO2 output. And by electrifying it, you can actually, fill up with electricity from the sun, from the wind, from renewable power, and it eliminates that part of the equation. And, climate change and tackling it and decreasing our impact on the environment is one of 5 things, and transport's one of them. And getting people into EVs faster is a great way to do it. So I really applaud you for doing this, Daneil.
Yeah, appreciate that, Chris. And yeah, the other big thing is the health benefits that are going to come from the EV transition. It's not often talked about. The emissions are obviously a huge part of it, but you know, any Australian that lives in a major city is breathing in diesel and petrol exhaust fumes every single day of their lives. Basically every breath, you're getting some diesel particulate going into your lungs. And if it goes into your lungs, it's going into your bloodstream. And if it goes into your bloodstream, it's going into your brain and to your other organs around your body. This is happening every single day. And there have been so many studies on the impacts of diesel particulate and, you know, petrol exhaust pollution. It has a negative impact on your cognitive abilities. So we're all slightly dumber because we're breathing this stuff in every day. So once the EV revolution takes off and our air becomes cleaner, which is what's happened in Oslo in Norway already, once that happens, everybody's well-being is going to improve, and as a society, we're going to become more intelligent. So that may also change politics, just that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And just a little quick segue there, and on politics, I saw you had Bob Catter in your car. What was that like?
That was amazing. It was a fantastic experience and completely unexpected. So we did my brother and I did a few videos, and they'd started to get traction, and I was actually having a couple of beers with one of my mates in Mackay, and he said, you should try and get Bob Catter in the driver's seat. And I said, yeah, that's a great idea. So I put a tweet out just saying, retweet if you'd like me to try to get Bob Catter in the car. And a few days later, his staff reached out to me and said that Bob was keen. So I drove the car from my hometown, Clermont, to Charters Towers. It's about 370 kilometres. I didn't have a full charge when I left because I had to go up pretty quick.
Yeah.
I had around 400 kilometres charge, and I got to Charters with 13 Ks left on the battery.
A bit nerve-wracking.
It was a bit of an anxious drive. And there's no fast charging stations in Charters Towers. There's a lot on the coast of Queensland, which is good, the ChargeFox ones, but there's none out west. So I had to run a cable into my hotel room and plug it into where the kettle plugs into the kitchen. I had to plug it in there. Yeah. So I had to sleep with the door open. But I got a charge overnight and was able to take Bob the next day for a ride. So,
yeah. Did you manage to get into the driver's seat? Because it looked like it was just a passenger.
Yeah, he was just in the passenger seat.
Fucker.
Yeah, I offered him a couple times, but he politely declined to drive it. So,
well, good try though. And getting people like Bob Catter, and for viewers overseas, this guy is a bit of a character. He's a politician. He wears these disgusting hats. Sorry, these interesting hats, and he represents a country, Queensland. And he's a lot of people follow him and believe in him. And if you can convert him, you can convert anybody, I say.
Yeah, I spent about 3 hours with Bob, and it was fantastic. We had lunch together, and we talked about a lot of stuff. Bob is actually very passionate about bringing manufacturing back to Australia, and there's the massive opportunity for Australia is that 9 out of 10 minerals required for batteries are found in Australia. So we can mine those minerals here. We can refine them into the materials that we need, and if we're bold enough and brave enough, we can manufacture batteries in Australia. There's no reason why we can't manufacture batteries in this country. And I think Bob is passionate about bringing manufacturing back, and he even mentioned making electric vehicles here in Australia. And he'd also like to see our government fleets in metro areas all go all electric as well. So
Excellent.
yeah, I was really quite encouraged by what Bob had to say.
So I believe you've launched a Patreon page to increase awareness and to help push this campaign on. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so after the last 6 weeks and the amount of traction that we've got through this project, I really want to continue this project all the way until the federal election, and I want to go to regional. I want to focus on regional towns around Australia. I want to take the car out there. I want to put regular Australians in the driver's seat, let them experience it for themselves. I want to take mayors, politicians, sports stars, comedians. I want to put as many people as I possibly can into the driver's seat. I want to film them or not film them. It's up to them.
Yeah.
And I also want to have conversations. I want to have conversations about electric vehicles and clean technology and the future that we can build for this, the positive future that we can build for this country. I need some help to do it. We've got about 70 Patreons already just in the last month. If I can get a few more, I'll be able to sustain this. And I also want it to be driven through social media. So I want people to tell me on Twitter where I should go, who I should meet with. So I want this to be crowd funded, but I also want it to be collaborative as well with people through social media. And yeah, I'll do it 7 days a week from now until the election if people back me.
Awesome. All right, brilliant. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link down beneath, and please do follow it. And whilst you're there, go check out your YouTube channel, Coal Miners in Cars and Teslas, and do subscribe over there and turn those notifications on so that whenever you drop a new video, people actually get it out there onto those social media channels and actually share with their friends and family about the fun that EVs are. And then we can change this dialogue around that EVs can tow boats, EVs are fast, and EVs can go far.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We can't rely on the media to talk about electric vehicles. They're just not doing it. So we need a grassroots movement. We need word of mouth. We need to get people excited about this future, excited about having clean air, excited about doing 0 to 100 in 3.3 seconds. Excited about all the amazing safety features that come with modern electric vehicles as well. So yeah, we're on the cusp of something really big, and I can't wait to see what the next 5 years is going to bring.
Awesome. Agreed. All right. Well, look, thanks very much, Daneil, for coming on the show today. Really do appreciate your time, and keep up the mission.
Thanks very much, Chris. And yeah, thanks for all that you do as well. I know that you've been campaigning hard with your YouTube channel for a couple of years now with EVs. And yeah, please keep it up. It's really valuable.
Awesome. All right. Thanks very much, mate.